What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network. This is my final installment of the Sword and Shield TCG set review, and today we are finally going over all of the trainer cards from the set and also the one special energy card that we're getting in the set. Before we get into this, I want to shout out PotownStore.com, your best place to get PTCGO codes of all kinds. They've got Sword and Shield, the Alolan Sand/GX codes, Meowth VMAX codes, whatever you need, and use code Celio for 5% off there. And also FlipsideGaming.com, where I write free articles, and you can use code Celio all caps for 10% off of your next order, $10 or more. So, in this video, I will be rating the cards based on their viability in the Ultra Prism through Sword and Shield standard format. I will be omitting reprinted trainer cards, so we won't be looking at the cards that are reprints. And these are my opinions, so remember that, and feel free to disagree and create productive discussion in the comments below. This is the legend, so I will be rating the cards from 1 star to 5 star. 1 star means the card is bulk, likely unplayable. 2 stars, the card may have use depending on other cards being good. 3 stars, the card will likely see some play, it's average, give or take. 4 stars, it's a good card, it will see play, and it's overall above average. And then 5 stars, it's a very good card that is potentially meta-defining, it will see play, and it will see success. So we got a lot of cards to look at today. We're starting off with Hop. It's just your standard draw 3 card supporter that usually comes out with the new set. Nothing special. This won't see play. It's just a 1 star bulk that they throw into theme decks and pre-release kits. Next is another bulk card, just 1 star, Poke-Kid. It's another card that usually comes out with base sets. It's a supporter that searches your deck for a Pokemon, and that's it. 1 star, it won't see play. Now we're getting into some of the interesting stuff. So Team Yell Grunt is very similar to Team Flare Grunt. It's a supporter card that says return an energy from one of your opponent's Pokemon to their hand. I do think this is fairly useful in certain decks and in certain matchups. So it's better than Flare Grunt because it can take the energy off of any of their Pokemon, but it's worse than Flare Grunt because it does not discard it. So I am just giving the card 2 stars since you're just returning the energy to their hand. It's not that detrimental, but versus something like an ADP deck where they need to attach manually twice to ADP, this could be very good. So it has potential, but I don't have high hopes for it to be played excessively or for it to see a ton of success, so just 2 stars. Next, we've got Lucky Egg. It's a tool card. If the Pokemon this card is attached to is knocked out by an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, draw cards until you have 7 cards in your hand. I've been trying this in my Sableye V Obstagoon deck since I was playing Lily's Dolls in there. So if you swing with the Linoon for 20 and send up a doll, and then the doll gets knocked out, they don't take a prize, but you get to draw off of Lucky Egg. And that seemed okay. But Lucky Egg just seems pretty easy to play around. And even if it's not easy to play around, the effect that it has on the game is definitely questionable. So I'm giving this 2 stars because a lot of times passive tools aren't very good. Tools that you don't get use of out of on your turn because of things like Faba and Lysander Labs or just playing around the effect of the tool. So, just 2 stars for Lucky Egg. I do think it will see a bit of play, but I'm not sure if that'll be rogue play, if it'll actually be good in tournament, if it'll see any success, but it has some niche potential. Next, we have Vital Band. I've also seen this called Fine Band, but this is the translation from Limitless, so Vital Band for now. The attacks of the Pokemon this card is attached to do 10 more damage against your opponent's active Pokemon. So we're just going to give this 4 stars. So it is a good card. It's a damage modifier. It's the only damage modifier like this that we have in standard format, but it's a downgrade from Muscle Band. It's not anything like Muscle Band or Choice Band, and we've also have higher HP now, so it is fairly weak, but I do think they're trying to eliminate the amount of one-shots in the standard format with the new V and V Max cards compared to things like Reshizard and Mewtwo and Mew. Like, those were really focused on one-shots, and I think they're trying to shy away from that just a little bit, which is good, and that's why I think Vital Band only amplifies your damage by 10. It will see play though, because it's the only damage modifier we have like this. So I do think it will see play. It's above average. If it was a muscle band reprint, I will give it 5 stars, but it's not, so it's just getting the 4 stars. We got Citrus Berry next. At the end of either player's turn, if the Pokemon this card is attached to has 3 or more damage counters attached to it, heal 30 damage from that Pokemon, then discard this card. So I think the berries are pretty interesting. And it's at the end of either player's turn, so like if you have a self-damaging attack, it would heal you from that for 30. If something happens in between turns, it would not heal you from that until the end of the turn. But I think the self-damaging thing is pretty cool. And just a healing card you can attach and save for later, I think it's pretty neat. It doesn't have to be damaged, it's there when you draw into the healing card, so you can have a full HP Pokemon attached as berry, and a couple turns later it gets hit, and then at the end of that turn it gets healed. So I think that's pretty neat, but it is only 30 damage, and it is a passive tool, and like I mentioned with Lucky Egg, I'm usually not a huge fan of passive tools, so I'm just going to give this card 2 stars. Next we've got Metal Saucer, 5 stars, amazing card. Its predecessors, Aqua Patch and Dark Patch. Dark Patch was an insanely used card, very successful in its time, and it's also very, very played and expanded right now. And then Aqua Patch did see some good play as well. This is just another patch card, but it's called Metal Saucer this time around. Attach a metal energy from your discard pile to one of your benched metal Pokemon. This is going to be an insanely used card, very, very good with Zacian V and Luke Metal, and I'm sure we'll see some other metal Pokemon in the future. 5 stars, this card is going to see a ton of play and a ton of success. Next we've got Bead or Bede. I'm not exactly sure how we're pronouncing this thing, but it is a supporter that attaches a basic energy from your hand to one of your benched Pokemon. So you could look at it as kind of like a universal welder, but it's 1 basic energy from your hand to a benched Pokemon. It's not drawing you cards, and it is your supporter for the turn. So I don't think it's very strong, but it could be used to fringe success. So I like the ability to accelerate a card from hand without an ability is very, very good. And it's any energy, so it can be used in things that don't already have energy acceleration, like metal has Metal Saucer, water has Frostmoth. You can use this for a different type that doesn't have that kind of acceleration. But like I said, it's your supporter for the turn. It has to be to a benched Pokemon, and it's not drawing you cards. So the card is very limited. I'm happy that it's not as strong as Welder, but even if it was like attached to energy, that might almost be not broken because of the new supporter rule. But it's just 1 energy to a benched Pokemon, and it's your supporter for the turn. So I'm giving it 2 stars. I'm sure it'll pop up in some decks somewhere, but I don't think it's going to be widely played. Next, we've got Quick Ball. This is the card we've all been hoping for, and we finally got it. Better late than never. Quick Ball, you have to discard a card from your hand, and then you search your deck for a basic and put it into your hand. We've been needing basic search. We've been needing non-GX, non-EX, non-special Pokemon, non-tag team search. Just to get our basic Pokemon that evolve into other Pokemon. So this is very good for every deck. Like, Quick Ball can be played in virtually every deck. It's an insanely versatile card, and it also discards card from your hand, which is good for a lot of decks right now in Standard. It's good for Mewtwo decks, it's good for Pika-Rom, it's good for Zacian decks. So Quick Ball is 5 stars, all around an amazing card, one of the best cards, if not the best card in the set. Next, we've got one of the other best cards in the set, Professor's Research, Professor Magnolia. It's just a Sycamore and Juniper reprint. Discard your hand, draw 7 as a supporter. One of the best supporters ever printed. It still stands true to that today. It will see a ton of play. It'll be a 4 of in a lot of decks. Most decks want to just empty their hand and draw 7 new cards to get to the good cards they need. I think this will make decks a lot more consistent. I definitely think this will be played in many, many winning decks, many well-performing decks. It'll be seen everywhere. 5 stars all around. Another amazing card from the set in Professor's research. Next, we've got Lumberry. If at the end of either player's turn this Pokemon is affected by a special condition, heal all special conditions from this Pokemon. So we're getting a little more fringe here than Citrus Berry even, but it's not complete bulk. But it has the same idea. At the end of a player's turn, it heals special condition. So just like Citrus Berry, if you attach it at some point in the game, it's not used until the effect pops it. So it's an interesting card. I don't think it will be widely played. Maybe if special conditions come up more relevantly in the future, then it will be played, but for right now, it's just a 2-star card. Next, we've got Balloon. The retreat cost of the Pokemon this card is attached to is 2 colorless less. Very simple card. It's like a nerfed Floatstone, just 2 retreat costs less, but Floatstone was an insane card. So I'm going to be giving Balloon 4 stars. 4 stars just because there is merit to still playing Escape Board in Standard because of Jirachi. Maybe some decks would like U-Turn Board, but I think most decks would like Balloon. If this was just a Floatstone reprint, it would be 5 stars automatically, but since it's just 2 retreat costs, it's not perfect for all decks, but it will see play, so 4 stars for Balloon. Next, we've got Big Amulet. The Pokemon this card is attached to has 30 more HP. I think this is a pretty average card. I think it's right down the middle, so I am giving it 3 stars. It doesn't do anything fantastic, but it's not bulk. Metal decks will play Metal Frying Pan instead. Snorlax will play Buff Padding, but for decks that don't fall into the category of being metal or having 4 retreat cost exactly, Big Amulet is a nice option to buff the HP by 30, so I think this will see some play. Next, we've got Rotom Bike. It's an item card. After using this card, your turn ends. Draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand. Personally, right now, I don't think this will be very good. I could be wrong, but I don't think it's good. I think you'd just rather use Zacian to draw 3 and end your turn and have Zacian on the board. And you don't have to draw into a Rotom Bike. So even if you're not playing a metal deck, you can just quick ball out of Zacian, draw 3, end your turn. Rotom Bike you have to draw into, and you're going to want this on turn 1, turn 0 to be specific. So you don't want to play like 4 Rotom Bike just to hope to draw into 1 going first on your first turn. I mean, if you lose the coin flip and your opponent goes first, and you have to play Rotom Bike going second on your first turn, maybe you wanted to attack there. You didn't want to end your turn. And even if it does work out perfectly, your opponent can just like use Marnie, and then you lost those cards anyway. So I don't think Rotom Bike is very good. Maybe there will be a specific deck that wants to use Rotom Bike, but just 2 stars. I'm not a fan. Next, we've got Hyper Potion. Heal 120 damage from one of your Pokemon, then discard 2 energy from that Pokemon. You have to have 2 energy to discard to use this card. I think this is an interesting card. It could be used with Stonejourner, it could be used with Snorlax, any of the tanking decks, maybe even Lapras VMAX, since you have pseudo-infinite energy for that card with Frostmoth. But it is a huge drawback to discard 2 energy, so I think this card will have to only see play in its fringe areas of use, like those Pokemon that have extra energy or a lot of HP where it's worth discarding 2 energy to heal 120. So not an all-around healing card like Acerola has been, or Malolana, or even AZ, which was pseudo-healing in the past, but it will be a niche healing card. Normal Rod, very, very good card. Another thing like Quick Ball that we've been desperately needing in standard format. Shuffle up to 2 Pokemon and up to 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile into your deck. You may choose only Pokemon or only energy. This is an amazing card. You get to put up to 2 Pokemon and up to 2 basic energy back into your deck at once, so it's technically better than Super Rod. Super Rod was up to 3 in combination of Pokemon and energy, which means you could do 3 Pokemon or 3 energy, which you can't do with this, but you can net a total of 4 cards combined of Pokemon and Basic back into your deck for just playing 1 item card, and we don't have another item card like this in standard format, so I'm giving this the full 5 stars. I'm very psyched to have this in standard format. Next, we've got Evolution Incense. Search your deck for an evolution card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. Very simple, just searches you out an evolution Pokemon card, and it's just an item. You don't have to discard anything. It's not your supporter for the turn, anything like that. I am only giving it 4 stars because I have tested a lot of Sword and Shield Standard in the past month or two, and Evolution Incense has been getting like kind of trickled down on my lists as I go. Like if I started out with 4 Evolution Incense, there's a good chance I went to 3 Incense and 1 Pokemon Communication, or 2 Incense and 2 Pokemon Communication. Just because Incense doesn't help you with consistency turn 1 getting set up. You can't get out your basics with it, obviously, and that's what Quick Ball's for. Pokemon Communication can be more versatile than Incense. So my main issue with Incense is just it's not versatile, but that's the design of the card. It's made to specifically help you out with getting your evolution cards, so it is very good at what it does, and I'm giving it 4 stars. Not the full 5 stars, because there are times when you want to play Pokemon Communication over it, or other decks you want to play Cherish Ball, or you want to play Electromagnetic Radar, or it just isn't as universal as something like Quick Ball or Pokecom, so I'm just giving it the 4 stars. And lastly, we have the 1 special energy card from this set, Aurora Energy. It counts as a rainbow energy when attached to one of your Pokemon, but you have to discard a card from your hand to attach it. This card is very good. I think it will be played over rainbow energy in a lot of decks, because just like Quick Ball, a lot of decks want to discard that energy, or sorry, that card from their hand. So you're attaching this energy and discarding a card, which helps Zacian, it can help Pikarom, it can help Mewtwo and Mew, it can help Malamar get cards that they want into the discard pile, and it gives you a rainbow energy. It's searchable by Guz Mahala. I think this card is all around very, very great, so I'm giving it the full 5 stars. And that is the end of this rating and review video for all of the trainer cards and the 1 special energy card from Sword and Shield TCG. And that is also the end of my Sword and Shield set review. I hope you all enjoyed the journey here through the videos. If you haven't watched all of the set review videos I've done, there's a full playlist of them on my channel that you can go back and check out. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel if you did and you want to see more content like this in the future. Check out PotownStore.com and FlipsideGaming.com, and I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.